Okay, this morning I'm grumpy. Nothing wrong with that. I enjoy being grumpy. I knew a lady many years ago. It wasn't Rena Hans, it was another lady who I'd sometimes visit, and she would say, "I'm in a crotchety mood today." That was the word she used, crotchety. And she would just say, "I so enjoy crotchety moods." Anyway, I'm in a grumpy mood. Why am I in a grumpy mood? Well, I'm in a grumpy mood, obviously, because my power has been diminished in some way. How has my power been diminished? Well, let me give you a little bit of background. There's all kinds of bullshit being posted on the Corporeal Fantasy Facebook group. And clearly these people are not seeing what I'm seeing. It's my ambition. I'm being brutally honest here. Really just to try and demonstrate what being brutally honest is like. And I'm assuming a lot of people listening to this can probably be brutally honest, but here's my account of it. So these people are not seeing what I'm seeing, so my power is diminished, and so I'm grumpy. Anyway, the thing that has really sparked the grumpy mood is a particular quote by, I won't mention the name, but somebody who contributes very regularly on the group. And she quoted from William Butler Yeats, or Yeats, and the quote goes, "We taste and feel and see the truth. We don't reason ourselves into it." Well, I could drag up probably 20 million quotes like that from people who've possibly seen something. I don't know. I wasn't William Butler Yeats, or Yeats. But are they useful to us? Well, no. I mean, we might get 2 minutes of some kind of satisfaction from it, feeling that there is some truth out there, and that it's possible to taste and feel and see it. But the statement, "we don't reason ourselves into it," is just, well, let me tell you about truth. The only way we get to sense any kind of truth, in my opinion, this is my experience, is by denying truth. And there are very good ways that we can do that. And the best way to do it is to understand our situation. So here we are. We are, to use Spinoza's words, definite and determined things. Our minds can work in a certain way and our bodies work in a certain way. We are not infinite. And because we're not infinite, we cannot comprehend the infinite, if there is such a thing as infinite. Even the word infinite is a product of our mind. It's a concept that we use because we find it useful in some situations. Although, if you get into mathematics, you'll find that there are different kinds of infinity and all that kind of thing, but I'm not going to go there. Anyway, we're not infinite. We don't have infinite capabilities. We sense and we think and we are in a particular way. And our being is bounded by those things. And in fact, when I eventually move on to Kant, then you will see that actually the way we are bounded is, how can I put it? It's probably more severe than you might think. Because our world is bounded, first of all, in the so-called physical sense, in quotes, by time and space. Those things are a product of our consciousness. This is not up for debate. Even contemporary science is establishing that, albeit in their own clumsy and, in my estimation, inadequate way. But biocentrism is maybe something you should look at if you want to see how modern science is showing how our reality is the reality that we create, or our minds create. What created our minds? Well, that's a wholly different question, and I'm not going to go down there because that would take 10 hours to explain. So anyway, here we are, limited, mortal, constrained creatures, and we have pretensions to the truth. And of course, New Age bullshitters like to talk about truth, and they like to talk about higher states of consciousness. And in fact, they like to talk about anything other than the things we have. Yeah, you can see I'm grumpy. And so, what are people talking about when they talk about the truth? Well, they're talking about something that is imaginary. The best taste of truth you will get is when you understand how impossible it is for us to know any truth. And then you may develop a sense of wonder or mystery. And as I quoted, I think either the last or in the last few podcasts anyway, that quote from Kant, which I can't remember entirely off the top of my head, but something like, I had to do away with knowledge to make room for faith. It might be his most famous quote. There is another one, but maybe that's the most famous one. Because what Kant did was he defined the bounds of our experience and our ability to think. The notion that we can have any sense of truth is ridiculous. There is one thing, and I've mentioned it many times in these podcasts, there is one thing that links us to what we might call the infinite, or whatever word you want to use. And that is the sense of existence. And both Kant and Spinoza agree that existence itself is something that is transcendental. Another word that New Agers like to use, so I'm reluctant to use it. But existence itself. But of course, existence is boring to New Age people. They've got existence all around them. It's not interesting anymore. It doesn't fire their imaginations. There are no purple, blue and pink halos around existence. There aren't spiritual beings sat in the lotus position. And so they're not interested. It's boring. But our sense of existence is our one link to anything that is bigger than we are. Because we didn't create existence. We create everything else. We create space, time, the way we think is determined. The way our minds work, the concepts we produce are all conditioned. But existence itself is not something we condition. We didn't create that. So, end of rant. All these pretensions to truth, anything positive that you might hear or say about truth is almost by definition false. The only sense that I've ever had of a larger truth is by denying truth.